Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. For our Advent celebration, representing Tampa Satsang group, Ms. Rosa Maldonado will be offering a reading from Teachings from Sri Ramana Maharishi, edited by Mr. Arthur Osborne, and Madhi Ratnasamy, myself, will be offering a reading from The Power of Arunachala by Mr. David Godman, followed by San Francisco Satsang Group's offering. Namo Ramana.
Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. My prostrations to Bhagavan Ramana. Namaskar to all. In this Advent celebration, we here from the Tampa Old Hall are offering this reading from the book, The Teachings of Ramana Maharshi in His Own Words. It is edited by Arthur Osborne, and it is a description of Bhagavan, of his experience, of how it came to him when he was 16 years old, and he himself described it. And it says like this: "It was about 6 weeks before I left Madurai for good that the great change in my life took place. It was quite sudden. I was sitting alone in a room on the first floor of my uncle's house. I seldom had any sickness, and on that day there was nothing wrong with my health, but a sudden violent fear of death overtook me. There was nothing in my state of health to account for it, and I did not try to account for it or to find out whether there was any reason for the fear. I just felt I am going to die, and began thinking what to do about it. It did not occur to me to consult a doctor or my elders or friends. I felt that I had to solve the problem myself there and then. The shock of the fear of death drove my mind inwards, and I said to myself mentally, without actually framing the words, 'Now death hath come. What does it mean? What is it that is dying?' The body dies, and I at once dramatized the occurrence of death. I lay with my limbs stretched out stiff as though rigor mortis had set in, and imitated a corpse so as to give greater reality to the inquiry. I held my breath and kept my lips tightly closed so that no sound could escape, so that neither the word I nor any other word could be uttered. Well then, I said to myself, this body is dead. It will be carried stiff to the burning ground, and there burnt and reduced to ashes. But with the death of this body, am I dead? Is the body I? It is silent and inert, but I feel the full force of my personality, and even the voice of the I within me apart from it. So I am spirit transcending the body. The body dies, but the spirit that transcends it cannot be touched by death. That means I am the deathless spirit." All this was not dull thought. It flashed through me vividly, as living truth which I perceived directly, almost without thought process. I was something very real, the only real thing about my present state, and all the conscious activity connected with my body was centered on that I. From that moment onwards, the I or self focused attention on itself by a powerful fascination. Fear of death had vanished once and for all. Absorption in the self continued unbroken from that time on. It is the last sentence that is the most remarkable, because usually such an experience soon passes, although the impression of certainty that it leaves on the mind is never afterwards forgotten. Very rare are the cases when it remains permanent, leaving a man thenceforth in constant identity with the universal self. Such a one was the Maharshi. Soon after this change occurred, the youth who was later to be known as the Maharshi left home as a sadhu. He made his way to Tiruvannamalai, the town at the foot of the holy hill of Arunachala, and remained there for the rest of his life. For a while he sat immersed in divine bliss, not speaking, scarcely eating, utterly neglecting the body he no longer needed. Gradually, however, devotees gathered around him, and for their sake, he returned to an outwardly normal life. Many of them, craving instruction, brought him books to read and expound, and he thus became learned almost by accident, neither seeking nor valuing learning. The ancient teaching of non-duality that he thus acquired merely formalized what he had already realized. He has explained this himself as follows. I had read no books except the Perya Puranam, the Bible, and bits of Trayumanavar or Tevaram. My conception of Ishvara was similar to that found in the Puranas. I had never heard of Brahman, Samsara, and so forth. I did not yet know that there was an essence or impersonal real underlying everything, and that Ishvara and I were both identical with it. Later, at Tiruvannamalai, as I listened to the Vibhu Gita and other sacred books, I learned all this and found that the books were analyzing and naming what I had felt intuitively without analysis or name. This is the end of my reading. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. This reading is from Mr. David Godman's The Name of Arunachala. Of all the names of God, the name dearest to the heart of Sri Bhagwan was Arunachala. Every one of the 108 verses of Arunachala Aksharamana ends with the name Arunachala, and the refrain is Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala. From the great love that Sri Bhagwan had for this name, it is clear that he regarded it as being no less powerful than the form of Arunachala. This fact is confirmed in verse 70 of Aksharamana, in which Sri Bhagwan sings, O Arunachala, the very moment I thought of your name, you caught me and drew me to yourself. Who can understand your greatness? There are many incidents in the life of Sri Bhagwan that illustrate his great love for the divine name Arunachala, but perhaps the most striking occurred during his last moments. About 25 minutes before he left his body, the assembled devotees began to chant Aksharamana. Hearing the name of his beloved Arunachala, Sri Bhagwan opened his eyes, which shone with love, and tears of ecstasy rolled down his cheeks. Though Sri Bhagavan never gave mantra diksha nor formally accepted anyone as his disciple, many devotees believe that Arunachala is the Nama mantra that he has bestowed upon the whole world. When a guru formally gives the mantra to his disciple, he explains to him the meaning and significance of each letter of the mantra and tells him the fruit to be gained by meditating upon that mantra. In the same manner, in the second verse of Sri Arunachala Navamani Malai, Sri Bhagavan has explained the meaning of each syllable in the name Arunachala, and he has declared that mere thought of this name will bestow liberation. From this, we can infer that Arunachala is the Jnana Panchakshari, the 5-syllable mantra that bestows jnana. Moreover, tradition tells us that when a mantra is given by a jnani, and when he explains the significance of each syllable of that mantra, he is actually putting his own power into that mantra. Therefore, if any devotees of Sri Bhagavan wish to have a mantra, they can very well take Arunachala to be the mantra openly given to them by him. The power of the name Arunachala was once directly confirmed by Sri Bhagavan. In 1948, a certain devotee came to him from Bombay, and with him he brought a book in which he had written the name Arunachala Shiva many thousands of times. On the last page of this notebook, the devotee wrote a prayer to the following effect: O Bhagavan, in the life of Sharada Devi, the wife of Ramakrishna, it is written that she has said that if even an animal dies in Kashi, it will attain liberation. Therefore, graciously bestow upon B the boon of death in Kashi. He then gave the notebook to Sri Bhagavan. Bhagavan looked through the notebook, and when he came to the last page, he read out loud the devotee's prayer. At once, he expressed the greatest surprise and exclaimed, Smarnat Arunachalam. The word Smarnat Arunachalam means by remembering Arunachala, and they occur in the very same Sanskrit verse that says that by dying in Kashi, one will attain liberation. Bhagavan then turned to the revolving bookcase by his side and took out a book, probably the Arunachala Mahatmyam. Opening it as if at random, he read out a sentence in Tamil that said, one Arunachala is equal power to 1 crore Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya is believed by Saivas all over India to be the most sacred and powerful mantra. After reading out a few other portions of this book that emphasize the unique greatness and power of Arunachala, Sri Bhagavan finally laid it aside and explained to the devotee that not everyone can see Chidambaram. Not everyone can be born in Tiruvayur. And not everyone can die in Kashi. But anyone and everyone can think of Arunachala from wherever they may be, and thereby they will surely attain liberation. From this incident, we can understand how unhesitantly Sri Bhagavan encouraged devotees to have absolute faith in Arunachala. If devotees of a skeptical frame of mind came to him and asked him how mere thought of Arunachala could bestow liberation, he used to explain the allegorical significance of this saying, since that alone would satisfy their mind. An example of this can be found in Talks with Sri Ramana Maharshi, talk number 473. But if devotees came to him with simple, childlike faith, he would strengthen their faith and confirm the literal meaning of this saying. Since he knew from personal experience the great power of the name and form of Arunachala. Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Arunachala Ramanaya. ಅರುಣಾಚಲ ಶಿವ ಅರುಣಾಚಲ ಶಿವ ಅರುಣಾಚಲ ಶಿವ ಅರುಣಾಚಲ ಅರುಣಾಚಲ ಶಿವ ಅರುಣಾಚಲ ಶಿವ ಅರುಣಾಚಲ ಶಿವ ಅರುಣಾಚಲ. ನಮೋ ರಮಣ.